All right, you sick, twisted perverts, buckle the fuck up because we're about to dive into a cesspool of debauchery with the nastiest, filthiest, downright dirtiest broad this side of Sodom. Hat Trick. She's back, wetter than a slip and slide in a monsoon, and she's got enough raunch to make the devil himself say, whoa, slow down there. So if you're ready to whip out your wildest fantasies and spank them silly, you've stumbled into the fucking jackpot. Get ready to go balls deep into the heart of depravity, where the only law is lawlessness. Here he comes, the ringleader of this circus of sin, the one who makes your mama pray for your soul, your host, the fucking architect of anarchy, the Kid AG. Let's go deep, you depraved motherfuckers. Deeper than deep. Let's go fucking cavernous.
AG in the booth, spit fire, no doubt. Podcast killer, got the streets on clout. 20 years deep, fights for evil side. Good as dumb, he the devil, ain't no place to hide. Going deep show, got them demons on call. Little devil whispering, make the angels fall. Mike hot as brimstone, truth is a flame. Good guy shook, Kid AG's Hall of Fame. Kid AG, devil on your shoulder, holding court. Going deep show, evil won't fall short. Whispers in your ear, got you lost in the game. For 2 decades strong, he's been fanning the flame. Flexing his horns, the spotlight is black. Broadcast legend, ain't no angel's track. Every word's a weapon, loaded and cocked. Good's a joke, and it's the evil that rocked. Spinning tails, mixing chaos and sin. Truth taking L's, Kid AG got the win. From the shadows, he pulling the strings. 20 years reppin', the devil's got wings.
Fighting for evil, good as dumb. It's time for the Going Deep show. Why do I sound echoey? It's because of that. All right, hi guys, it's me, the Kid. Welcome to the program, everybody. Joining me, Her Highness Patrick. What's up, baby?
Hello.
Talking dirty, making me hard over here. Just fucking playing dirty things. Yeah, it's our MO, right?
Introducing Kid to the world of smut.
Girl smut. Girls smut is, I think, I don't know. See, I think I'd struggle over the years with my imagination, but listening to that, oh yeah, the imagination is all there. But welcome to the show, everybody. Yeah, we're fucking around with intros and doing all sorts of AI madness now. What did you think of the intro there with the little hat trick intro, huh?
That was pretty good. I liked it.
I'm trying to be more proactive in releasing new shows every fucking day. Today's episode that came out was the Hot Tub Twins, and it was this weird like going back in time thing where the 2 girls that came in, one of them was she pretended to be a prude because her mommy was in here. You know, it's like, I don't look at porn. I never touch myself. Well, today's show opposite of that, okay? We got all sorts of fun we're going to be fucking doing with this shit. Yeah, so today, it's a hump day. I'm trying to give the dates of these more so that when I go back and listen to them years later, I can know what's going on. It's kind of, I've been listening to some shows through the live stream at 8hole.com. You can go to the Going Deep show too and listen to the live stream on there. And it's just random episodes from every year over the past 20 years. It's fucking cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. I know you've sent me some every once in a while. I'll get a text from you. And
I sent one to Don Tang yesterday because it was a show where he talked about peeing on girls. Don Tang pees on girls.
That's
he gives the full details and stuff.
I feel like Pootie Tang would be into that.
Well, he alludes to the fact that he like snuck into the shower one time and peed on her. So it's all in good fun here, guys. We just try to take, a good portion of your day and just kind of, just make you forget about it. You know what I mean? One thing we have done over the course of I don't know if it's something I'm consciously doing, but I'm not really paying attention to the time. There's no audio bed that kicks underneath us to start and stop the show now. Just playing this. We're going to talk as much as we fucking want. When you got to go pee, we stop and we just go, The way podcasting should be.
I feel like the last time I was in, we had a couple that ran.
Yeah.
We just kept going. So
well, it's because when they hear you and when I see you, it's kind of like stupid. And I'm always trying to go to bat for why did we start podcasting? And then it's like, well, it's because we don't want the format. So it's like, okay, well, there's nothing more restricting than the 20 minutes and the 30 minutes that we have been doing. But I think that was all out of necessity because I had to pay for it.
That's fair.
Now I'm paying for space. I'm just like, whatever, who gives a fuck? Let's go. So today you sent me this dirty, it's an audiobook. Mm-hmm. But you were saying it's like an audiobook of like something innocent. It's like a Disney fucking.
So
they redo this
series that I discovered it's like the Never After series, but I'm on the second book and they're very loosely based with like Disney characters. So the first one was called Hooked, and it was, Hook was the villain obviously, but he ended up hooking up with Wendy, who is Peter's daughter. And like, so they bring in characters, and then there wasn't Tinkerbell, but Tina Bell was like.
So are people making money off of this?
I mean, there's like a whole thing called Book Talk. I don't do the TikTok thing, but I see the reels, 2 weeks later on Instagram, like a millennial. And there's people going on reading all these smuts, and it's hilarious because you see these women giving each other recommendations of different things, and some of them blow up huge. Like there's the Fourth Wing. I have not read that one yet.
I know,
but I've literally been reading smut since I've known you. Like my first smut was written by Anne Rice. But
the thing about you is too, you years ago, it's a long time ago, I think the studio was still inside the house. You were sending us you were sending your text that you were writing, and then you came in and actually had one printed out.
Yeah, and that's when I was I have no idea what happened to those because I did just like the short story because I'm not a creative writer, I'm a journalist, but it's when I started reading the smut. Like I said, I mean, Anne Rice, I was into her Vampire Chronicles, and then I found out she did a trilogy on Sleeping Beauty, speaking of the Innocence, but it was legit, like the prince woke her up from her sleep, took her to his kingdom of sex slaves. Like, I mean, it was just pure sex and parading around naked. And I mean, there was this village of sex slaves, but the sex slaves would pull the carriages like horses and have butt plugs with horsehair as tail. I mean, I'm telling you, that one was insane. Yes. Like, you want some hardcore. I mean, that's not even, I don't even call that one smut. That is straight up erotica. And that was my introduction to true, like, dirty books and everything. Because before that, I mean, like I said, I'd ran at Rice, and she had like a few scenes here or there sprinkled amongst her vampire ones, but nothing like what it is now. But yeah,
this is going to be a really long conversation too, because I think I have so many tangents I want to run down with this, because it kicks into like creative mode and with the writing things, and like you were saying, you're into journalists and all that. And I've been having this discussion recently with some people who are attempting to keep your kids innocent and keeping their innocence and doing that. Now I know you have kids, I have kids. Mm-hmm. It's in this back of your mind inevitability that they are going to be exposed to life and become one of us.
Right.
You know what I mean? So where and what's appropriate, and when do you kind of bring this up with them where, like, has your daughter or son ever asked you, hey, Mom, what are you listening to?
Oh, they know. They know, and I have an earbud, and they're like, oh, you listen to smut?
They know that.
Because their stepmom does, too. Like,
stepmom does, too.
Yeah, they know that we're always... But, I feel awkward listening to it around them, because I'll make faces like you were making. Like, listen.
Oh, my God, yeah. Do you find yourself getting worked up a little bit? I mean, you got to. You sent that to me when I was at work today at my desk. I closed the office door. I put my earbud in, and I'm like, I'm seriously starting to chub up, man.
100%. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I will 100% masturbate. Like, oh, okay, after that chapter, let me go take care of that and listen to some more. Oh, yeah.
You're squeezing in a little masturbatory time. That's good.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, and I find myself doing it more during the day, like when I'm technically on the clock, working from home, when I'm listening to books in between.
You get paid to fucking masturbate.
I do. Yeah.
That's something great. I love that.
I know.
You ever when you did have to go to work, did you ever fucking flick the bean at the workplace? Like, see, for guys, it's easy. It's easy to get away with jacking off at work because you just go over to the urinal and nobody else is in the room. You fucking take a piss and start fucking going. If somebody walks in, you just stop, and then you might be hard, but you figure a way. Fucking tuck it up into your belt or something. You know what I mean? But it's really, what do you do? Nobody's walking in? Fine, keep going. You put it right where it needs to go, and then you fucking flushed out of there.
I mean, that's true, yeah.
I'm full of information about the masturbation skills of techniques. I told you my drawer technique last time. I didn't. Where you were in the drawer technique, the shelf in the bathroom technique, the Ziploc bag in the shower technique. But okay, no, not that's a whole other story. But back to this keeping things innocent with the kids and stuff, because I was exposed way too early to shit. It's well documented on this podcast. My babysitter had a liking for me, and she diddled my bits a bit. You know what I mean? And it was before I could even get off. It was before I could come. So it was all just, ooh, that feels good, and it's just gonna keep feeling good because nothing's gonna happen. But when you, my favorite thing is, like, we were just talking earlier. I brought up some photos of some AI hat trick art that I made, which was pretty fucking awesome. It's great. I want to kind of do this with a bunch of my friends that come in to do the show. But I stumbled upon a few photos of my cat that's in there, and I'm like, yeah, man, this is life now. Pictures of my puss.
I got those kind of pictures of my pussy all over my phone.
So when I have a feeling you were like my ex-wife, where when the kids asked questions, you were as blunt and to the point and exact in answering them. And there's no beating around the bushes, no trying to dance around it. Yep. At what age were they asking these questions? Mama, how do they get to the point where they know you're fucking listening to smut and going to masturbate?
I mean, that's been a relatively recent thing, probably the last year, I would say. I mean, we've had talks about sex and how all that works earlier, and it was always kind of awkward. I mean, I watched Game of Thrones with my daughter, so
didn't you say something about Vikings too?
Vikings, yeah. So I mean, so she's seen it, and it's enough to the point where I've learned her tell when it is doing something to her, because she'll be like, oh my god, this is so stupid, and she'll like purposely try to avert her eyes or go on her phone or distract herself. She doesn't do it all the time, just sometimes, and I'm like, that's it. That's her tell that she's starting to feel something from it. So it cracks me up. And I don't mention it like it is what it is. She's allowed to whatever. Cause we're adults, right? I can hide that when it does it to me.
Yeah. We try to, but sometimes you'll get flushed. You'll turn pink, or you get a little blushing or whatever.
But I mean, over the last couple of years, like I've been single and they've been older to know that like sometimes Mom goes to get dick down, and that's okay.
Mom just wants a twat licked out tonight.
Like, my daughter, like, will glare at me and judge me, and I'm like, listen, like, we're consenting adults, it's fine.
Oh, God, yeah.
Not that I tell her everything, but, like, there's times where she's just like, or she'll overhear me saying something to her stepmom and stuff, and she'll just look at me and be like, who was it?
You know what's interesting about you saying that? It's taken me a long time to get to the point where me, as an adult, and someone else who's not with anybody else, when we get together, to just do it and then leave and be like, okay, that was good. That was fun. There's no guilt about it because you're not doing anything behind anyone's back.
See, and that's the thing is that, like, I've usually always been that person, so that it can be nonchalant and be like, all right, cool, like, peace out.
Yeah, I like that's a great thing about you. It is one great thing about you.
I've always
besides
been that
your
way.
Epic titties.
And it's thank you. But nothing has changed since literally I'll get a friggin' text, kids home? I'll be like, nope, door's unlocked.
Yeah.
And that's what it is, and it's perfect.
How long do you think that could you go the rest of your life and that be the 100%, case?
100%, yeah.
Yeah, I think
as long as I had something that was relatively steady.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want somebody to come live in my space.
No, it's very difficult.
I like my space. I like my life. Like, we can hang out sometimes. We can get drinks, go to dinner, whatever.
Yeah.
Some sleepover sometimes cool.
Right. I think my biggest issue is I got too much shit to do, and trying to balance how much somebody wants to spend time with me versus how much I need to really get shit done. So fucking awful.
I was kind of dating a little bit last year, and like this one guy, like we hit it off. He was, super, super fucking nice dude. And, we had the conversation right up. He's like, what are you looking for? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I like to go out. I like to have fun. I don't know what I want. And he was like, well, I'm looking for something long term. I'm like, okay, cool. And we had that conversation really early on. We were hanging out for a bit, and I just was like, I don't like feeling obligated, like I got to hang out with you.
Yeah.
You know, it's every week. What are you doing?
It is
when you got
hard.
kids? And I'm like, that's not what I'm looking for. You know, and he was super, super fucking nice. And so but I'm like, hey, listen, I know you're looking for something long term. I'm like, I don't want that. Like, I'm good. And he was thankfully super awesome. Like, I totally understand. I appreciate you telling me it. He's like, this is kind of why I threw that out there early on. And I'm like, that's what you got to do. I feel like dating this. I mean, we're too fucking old to beat around the bush.
You want to know
shit.
what's really messed up about what you're saying? I think we try to figure out who the person we're compatible with instead of the way you're approaching it and saying, the relationship that could work the best for you is the one where the other person doesn't want as much of a relationship as we're typically taught to have.
It's a friendship. Like, that's what I want. Hey, I want somebody I can go hang out with, get drinks, have dinner, like, not necessarily bring around the family, but you are welcome at those events. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not that way. Hey, if you're available, come on out. You know, whatever.
My circle of friends is pretty big. I like to keep it growing. I have a ton of friends that I like to hang out and do stuff with, but when one person kind of gets more attention than the other ones call me out about it. They do. Yeah.
But and that's it, you know? I don't have any desire to get married. Like, I got my kids. Like, and I'm content in my own life. Like, if I don't have plans for a week, I'm okay with that.
And just think, okay, your kids are getting up there. Your kids are getting up there.
They'll graduate in 2 years.
Yeah.
So
2 years?
Yeah.
So they're older. Yeah, no, they're around the same age as my youngest.
Yeah, I think they're a grade under her. She's a junior, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're sophomores.
A kid, man. She gave me shit the other day. You didn't come to my Powerpuff game, so blah, blah, blah. This is off the tangent here. I don't know how we went from fucking sexy talk to fucking our kids, but Jesus Christ, woman. Right? I think last time you were in here, you had your titties out. We did a whole fucking no titty shirt, no pants show.
Oh, we did. It's too fucking cold for that
Fuck
shit.
yeah.
Fucking my jacket.
My little
man.
fucking turtle will be up inside of my fucking groin, my gooch. It'll be up in there for sure. I was listening to some older shows with you though, and I wrote down some notes. I have to take my glasses off now because I'm fucking old fart. If I'm reading up close, I don't know. I always think I look weird without my glasses on. Oh yeah, I was playing clips of the All Pussy show with you and Magnum because I talked to her the other day. She brought me a coffee at work, and she's looking good. She's a good looking girl, you know. She is. She's super good, super hot still. But again, another one of those things where I go back and I hear those shows, and you guys are raunchy as fuck. You guys, all three of you and Suki and Mags could have just that alone. Like as I'm passed out, I'm like, good God, I could have had three sets of titties in my face, and I got nothing. Got a nothing. You know what I got? A breathe right nasal strip and a pissed off wife at the house. You remember dropping me off?
God, that.
Jesus fucking Christ, man.
But yeah, see, this is why we listen to Smut, man.
So now again, back to the Smut. When you first discovered this, do you remember what the first book what you heard? What was it like? I
mean, the first like legit whole book around it was it's a Sleeping Beauty trilogy. It's by Anne Rice. I mean, I guess first book with sex in it was still some of hers, but there were some of the Vampire Chronicles. But it wasn't like explicit like what it wasn't. I don't know. But so I was, 19, 20. I mean, I bought that trilogy when I was living in Phoenix read the whole trilogy in a weekend because I got sucked into it. And yeah.
What's funny about this is, okay, as you're describing hearing this audiobook, here in the studio, I busted out the porn. I mean, not really porn. I got Playboys laying around. I think there's like a Hustler magazine somewhere. But I have an entire box of porn inside. And we had this conversation recently about let's say the internet goes down. Just we can't get access to shit. You can't look at porn on your phone. It's been, in Florida now. You have to show your ID and stuff. They're doing all sorts of crackdowns on the porn. But what happens when you actually have to use your imagination? And I think you, with this audio, has really kind of solved it. I mean, not really solved it, but I think women in general look at it or hear it differently. You guys, your imaginations, I think, can. Well,
and it depends on the author. I mean, like I said, I'm new to the audiobooks, but I've read a ton. Like the other series that I was into is called Black Dagger Brotherhood. It's it's a vampire one, but there's a good. I like that one because it has a really good plot. Like there's an underlying plot between the whole series But then the whole theme is like every book, one of these like warrior vampires finds his mate by the end. So there's all like, there's the plot and the conflict and everything, but then also the sex. And then the suspense of like almost having sex. Like the one that I'm listening to now, they didn't end up finally hooking up to like 2/3 of the way through the book. But there was so much tension.
The anticipation.
And that's exactly it. Yeah. It's that anticipation, and you hear it. And like I said, I mean, reading it to me is just as much of a turn on as listening to the audiobooks.
Now, you guys are going to call me crazy on this, but it's just because you do what you do when you're trying to get in the chick's pants. But last spring, I was, I had a little jungle fever, as they say. Okay. I was introduced to someone who was a cute little, black chick, way too young for me, but I got a little flavor for it. You know what I'm saying? So then I was kind of, I'll tell you this right now, the laws of attraction thing works. Without a shadow of a doubt, the laws of attraction thing works. I have a couple examples of how it works that I can tell you. One of them is when we had the porn site, when we had porn.tumblr.com, I would look through women all day. I'd get up in the morning, go on the treadmill. I was posting stuff to that site. So I would see the most beautiful women. I mean, we have a bunch of them that are showing up on the screen right now. These are some of the images that were there. And I was hanging out with women that looked like these women that I was posting. I remember, you remember a couple of my exes. They had these nice tight little bods, and they were young, and they were, so last May, June, into July a little bit, I was totally just like, I gotta have me a black chick, right? And I did. It was just like mission accomplished. I didn't think about anything but that. I even started a Pinterest board called fucking Brown Sugar.
Oh my God.
Okay. And I've made it happen, motherfuckers. Okay. So seriously, if you want this to happen, where am I going with this?
Put your mind to it.
Put your mind to it. So I believe, that, you when you say you don't want something, usually something comes along that or makes you question it. You know what I mean? And I have a friend right now that we hang out all the time, and we're so compatible. It's insane. It's really cool, and it's just like effortless. Mm-hmm. We hang out together. When we don't hang out together, I miss her a little bit, but I don't. It's like we do our thing, come back to. It's so weird to have this natural friendship that is like just like we're together thing, And I told Silverback the other day, I said, I think I've been like one of those, I think I'm in a relationship. You know what I mean? But I don't know. And one of the reasons that I think I could never, ever not like hang out with this person is she's into the same girls that I'm into.
There you go.
So
it's like the dream. Yeah.
How do you stop that?
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, it's a weird dynamic there. So I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. This week I thought about you a couple times. So first of all, have you seen? It was CES week out in Vegas, where they do all of the computer, the consumer electronic things. So what do they have? AI robots, female AI robots. And I thought to myself, there needs to be a hat trick robot.
Oh, jeez.
Can you imagine a hat trick robot?
Could retire tomorrow.
Listen, you should have been retired already.
I know that. We should have when you invented OnlyFans 20 years ago.
It would have been only hat trick fans. That'd actually be a great domain name. Don't steal that one. Only hat trick fans. But you were in, I think, with Magnum a few times when we were doing the Name Your Vagina contest or Name Your Pussy contest. Do you remember this?
No, but it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
You were in on it, and I can tell you why.
I believe it, yeah.
I don't know why? Because we sent the winner your panties.
Oh, yeah! Those lime green ones. Wasn't it Spoo?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I remember that. Because I remember you coming over to take pictures of me in
those.
So the
only reason that he got your panties, which is really weird to think about it, he gets your panties when he's naming her vagina. Wouldn't he get her panties?
Yeah, I don't remember.
What kind of sense does that make? I remember going to your house though. Now, and this is revealing way insider information. Okay, literally the day before, I come to see you to take those pictures with you wearing those panties and me taking the panties and all that. The day before, my ex-wife caught me cheating. So I'll tell you this right now that this is a 100% true story. I would go out to meet her at her work for lunch. This is when you were living in Midland. That day, I remember going out to have lunch with her, texting you or calling you to come and get the stuff. But I wanted to do it really just like, I got to, because how weird was it? You were,
it was like a quick in and out. Like,
yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, because she was fucking pissed off at me for getting caught fooling around like an idiot. But I remember, because we go into your back room, mirrors on the closet doors. And I remember you looking at me for a split second that you were going to change, but you like looked at me and were like, are you going to be in here? And then you were just like, whatever. And you just fucking just got naked and just fucking changed into the Going Deep Show shirt and the panties. And then, yeah. I'm trying to think, dude, what year was that? That had to be 15 years ago. Fucking shit, dude.
Probably close to it. 14, 15. That would have been when I lived there. Yeah.
Before the kids?
No, it was after the kids.
Were they there?
But they were like little.
Being a good mom. They were out. You stay here.
I got
to go get some naked pictures.
They're probably at their dad.
You get out of here, kids. Mommy's got to pretend that this is important.
No, even now I don't do shit like when they're around, like, or they don't care if I like go, obviously if I go somewhere or whatever, but.
See, here's something that's weird, okay? I've been with people over the past year that they don't give a shit if their kid is like in the next room.
Yeah, no.
And I'm not talking this like little kids. I had sex with somebody multiple times when their teenage daughter was in the room right next door. And I was just like, okay, it's something about it is kind of like the first time, like, oh, we gotta be quiet. Like, it's like, there right. You go quiet seats and stuff like that. But then it was like, it really got kind of hot and like she's hearing us. Something about like someone else like listening in. I think that's like, this goes back to what we're talking about with this audiobook stuff. You're hearing all their dirty thoughts and the veiny cock shit and the fucking coming all over the place. And
like, I love, this one's not that bad on like the words they use to describe everything, but some of them are very interesting. Like I'm on this like Facebook page. It's like some like badly written erotica, and it's hilarious because it's clips from books. And I've, I put my finger down her wet folds. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I'm like, please don't call them folds.
Yeah,
like,
that
just say her pussy or say like.
Yeah, that makes me think of a fat chick.
No, 100%. Like or the length of his member. Like, there's some weird ones. But then there's like the big. Oh my God, some of the ways that they describe these dudes' monster fucking cocks is insane. Like the one that I was, and I read it, I bought it for myself. So I have a paper copy. I can let you borrow this book if you ever want to read it. I don't remember what it's called. But anyway, long story short, the dude's giving her a blowjob. And she talks about like having both of her hands on it. And then, putting her mouth on it and it going all the way to the back. I'm like, wait a minute here. Like I fucking measured like my hands stacked on each other and then like about how deep I thought my mouth was, right. And she's saying that it still didn't fit in. This dude's dick, I'm like, this dude's dick is 14 inches. Well, minimum.
You've had some big ones.
Not that big. But either way, and in another scene he is talking about, oh, she can take my full length. I'm sorry, bitch. Nobody is taking 14 inches. Nobody's taking 14 inches. 99% of women are not going to take 14.
I've seen some videos of some chicks, man. It's like, wow. You can see it hitting like down their throats. No, I'm talking in her pussy. Oh, in her puss?
It's not that deep. Anatomically, it's not that deep, dude. It's not that deep.
I don't know anything about that. I don't have a 14-inch.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like, so it cracks me up because sometimes in my mind's like, wait a minute here. Like that one I did the fucking math. I'm like, okay, my hands, like, look how I had like that big and then her mouth and it still didn't fit in. You're visualizing this, right?
Yeah,
and like her hands, she specifically described that her hands could not fit around it.
There's a porn star right now that I've been really obsessed with, and I think it's only because she looks like the former girlfriend. I've done this quite a bit where it's like, oh, I found the girl, looks just like the girl, and her name is Angel Long, and she's always fucking black dudes. Okay. DP and getting fucking double penetrated by black dudes. But so the other day I found one and I've never clicked on a porn saying to myself, I don't want to watch this one, but I'm going to watch this one. Okay. And it was her with Ron Jeremy. And it's not Ron Jeremy from the 70s, Ron Jeremy. It's like Ron Jeremy 2 weeks before he went to prison, Ron Jeremy.
God.
And I'm just like, no, no. And it's the literally last one I've watched of her because I can't get the hedgehog's fucking body and shit out of there. And the fact that she is willing to do that, and she's got to be a fucking good actor because there's nobody that's getting that turned on by the hedgehog at this stage. Am I right?
I don't. Yeah, no. I look at the women in porn more. I just care about the guy's dick mostly, right?
Yeah,
like, even as a woman.
That's how guys do too.
But like, if I catch a glance of a dude and he's nasty, I'll have to find something different.
Right.
But I mean, same goes for a chick too. But like I said, I don't particularly look at the dudes, and I appreciate one that's like got tattoos or some other shit. You know what I mean? But I don't care as much about them as I do about the chick.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm constantly looking for guys whose dick looks just like my dick.
I don't care how hot the chick is. I'm not watching one with. Oh, see, no, I like watching ones with like dudes with like monster dicks that I know that I can take.
Right. Oh, that sometimes if it's like with a tiny little girl, sometimes there'll be a cute chick. But this girl, she's tall, but she's just fucking beautiful. She's gorgeous.
Or I like to see the ones. I don't care if the dick's big, but like multiple dicks inside her at the same time.
So I
like watching shit that like I don't do.
Well, you were talking about what the fuck was it? It was. Oh, was it you with two dudes? Or?
Yeah, my dream. I want 2 bisexual dudes. That's like my dream.
Oh, you said it was the bi one. Yeah, that's where it threw it. That's where it threw me.
Because I want them doing shit too. Because these books,
I can't.
The one I listened to, it was Hercules and Meg and Hades.
See,
like, and both of them were bi and doing shit.
Okay, that's a little from a guy's perspective who's like. This fucking most hetero fucking motherfucker on the planet. Okay, but I don't. If you're gay, I don't give a shit. Okay, you can be gay. Like it's fine. You do you. That's great. But I have this struggle because Don Tang, who came in to do the show one time, and I swear I'm gonna find this clip of him. He was talking about chicks with dicks. Okay, and how he was almost an advocate for chicks with dicks. And in my mind, I was like, what? But he had me convinced by the end of the fucking episode that the chicks with the dicks are the ultimate because when you do watch the porn, like we just said, all you're doing is watching the dick part. So if you had 2 chicks who looked like chicks, hot, I'm not going to, I don't watch any ugly. I gotta have attractive people in my fucking porn, except Ron Jeremy banging my long girl that I liked. So, where these stories that you're reading or audiobooking, they're essentially the equivalent of those 3D animated porn things a little bit, right? Wouldn't you think? Because those are so fantastical.
If you're blind and can't watch porn, fuck, you can listen to it, or you can. If the book is Braille, you can read it. You know what I mean? Like, fuck yeah, dude.
Can you imagine being somebody who's never had sex, like somebody in a wheelchair, or somebody who's never who's really super inexperienced, and they hear that, what you said? I mean, Jesus Christ, we've been around the block. We know what the fuck's going on. We know how to do some shit. And that turns us the fuck on. Can you imagine being somebody who's like, hasn't been turned on to this or hasn't busted that complete innocence card out? You know what I mean? That shit's got to be intense as fuck for these people. Wouldn't you think?
I mean, maybe, I guess. I don't know, yeah.
So now back to...
It depends, though, because like some of it, I mean, it depends on how extreme, I guess, because a lot of them have like some BDSM shit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess if you're super innocent, you might just be like, what the fuck? Like that one, the Anne Rice trilogy, when I lent it to the twin stepmom, because I'm like, you like Smut, this is some intense shit. She couldn't read it because, well, the prince woke her up while she was sleeping, so that was rape. I'm like, it's fucking Sleeping Beauty. Just like...
What?
I know. And so she couldn't get into them because it was 2 and she couldn't read them.
Oh my God.
And she likes reading the Smut and stuff. So I'm like,
So she's more social justice warrior instead of like we're all a product of our what era we grew up in and our environment and all that stuff. So I get it.
I don't. And even to me, it's fiction. I mean, any kind of fiction. You have to. You can suspend some disbelief to enjoy entertainment, right? I mean, how many movies do you watch and you're like,
especially when it's stuff where does this turn you on? Are you not watching it because that went a little too far, but I kind of liked it still? How much further am I to go? I mean, I kind of regret not starting the choke thing with my ex-wife earlier. We only really got into it later on in our marriage, where I was just like, I could, and then and even with girlfriends and stuff like this, you got to tread a little lightly when it comes to that starting it up and seeing how they react to it and shit. Because everybody's got their preferences, man. You know, I don't like my nipples touched. You know, no. But what I can see where if a girl does like that, where she would think that would turn me on too, but it's just like nothing. It does nothing for me. It's like, get the fuck away from me. Stop trying to touch my fucking hairy nipples. Okay, come on now.
Speaking of choking, there was a lot of choking in the last one that I listened to.
Yeah, I do. I like that. I like that.
I like choking. I feel like I've talked about that before.
Yeah. Well, come on. Let's be honest. You had, correct me if I'm wrong, on this podcast, you talked about how one of your
the belt, yes,
kids walked in and you had the belt around your neck. Was it your kid or is it
it was mine. But he was like in diapers, so it wasn't like didn't see anything because it was a quick roll under the blankets. Too young to understand. You know what I mean? Like young enough, no clue. Like he has no recollection of it. But this is also why I don't have.
How do you know?
Home.
Did you ask him? Remember that time I walked in and I had a belt around my neck? No. What? Why?
That kid can't remember what happened to him in class earlier in the day. There's no way he's remembering that shit.
He was young enough, huh? Sometimes that shit scars you.
No, he was. I don't even think he
Mom's
was 2.
Playing giddy up.
No.
It's a good thing we have it all well documented here on the Goin Deep Show.
Which is why my children will never know about this. Actually, my daughter knows that I go on a podcast with you, but that's the
you don't tell her the name of it.
Oh, hell no.
Hell no.
Hell no.
She's only a couple years away from making her debut.
No, so funny story about her. So she had her first boyfriend, right?
Oh, this ought to be good. So how old is she? She's like a year younger than mine. So she's like 15,
yeah. So she had her first boyfriend. They started dating.
Like they're not.
No. So they started. They were talking for a while. Started dating. Like he went to Thanksgiving at her dad's house. He came to Christmas with us. But anyways, so she told me when he kissed her, she's like, I had my first kiss, and it was just like a normal kiss, and I'm like, okay. She's like, how was it? She's like, gave her butterflies, whatever. So she was like all kind of excited. Well, this kid started showing some red flags with jealousy. Like she'd tell me some stories and I'm like, okay, kind of be careful about that. And she's never experienced
at that young age,
Yeah. So he, some different things. And then he, all of a sudden he was like, well, what show are you watching? And she's like, oh, Outer Banks. And he's like, isn't it the one that everybody watches because they think the one guy's hot? And
Jesus.
Yeah. And she's like, well, I mean, yeah, but that's not the one that I like. And she said something completely innocent. Like, oh no, I think this guy's cute. He got pissed and stopped talking to her. Sent her a message being like, well, it's basically cheating if you're looking at other guys. I don't care if it's on a show.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm like, you need to drop him.
You've dealt with this shit
you need
in the
to
past
drop
before,
him, dude.
right?
Yeah. And so we talked, and she finally, she confronted him, told him how she felt. They were going to try to make it, okay, whatever, dude, hon. So he came to Christmas with us, and it was fine. They were good. She was, things seemed to be better. Well, then she went to Christmas at his house a couple days later. And, she's like, he tried he was making out with me. And I'm like, okay, how did that make you feel? She's like, I did not like it. I made him stop. I'm like, okay, and there was all these other things she started talking about. And long story short, she ended up breaking up with him. She's like, yeah, I don't want this. And I swear I've never seen myself in her more than when she was telling me, she's like, oh, Mom, he started crying. And she was so fucking annoyed. And I'm like, I have never seen myself in you more than when that annoyance came out when this motherfucker started crying.
Heartbreaker over here.
Because I've done that.
Oh, yeah.
I know. So it was so funny. So she's over it. She's like, whatever. She's like, I got my own life. I don't need a guy. And I'm like, oh, God, she's listening to me.
That's... You know what? Now again, this is kind of kicking me back selfishly into my mind. I can't remember the last time I was hurt to the point where I cried when it came to, because I tend to, everything comes to a head real fast with me. It's like it's on and then boom, it's done.
And I don't, like I said, I've had more than one. Like the first one that did it was like one of my high school boyfriends, and like I was already ending things, and then he started crying, and I'm like, yeah, now I'm really fucking done. Like I'm over it. And then one of the other ones was the twins' dad, and I told my daughter that. I was like, yeah, I'm like, I made your dad cry when I broke up with him. And she's like, really? I'm like, yeah. And then I was like telling her some of the things he said. She's like, Dylan was saying some of those things. I'm like, yeah, guys are dumb. Like, it's the same old shit, man, when they're trying to, like, make you feel bad. But because that's what her dad did. He's a gaslighter, so.
Well, I think this, I don't know, just because I'm a fucking old man now, but I think that once you hit a certain age, you say to yourself, oh, you're a fucking idiot. Why did you act that way? Mm-hmm. You wrecked a lot of friendships, and you wrecked a lot of relationships that could have probably been good by being fucking stupid and just communicate in a better way. Because jealousy is a natural feeling. Mm-hmm. Envy is more, I think that, but it's how you, and this is, I'm not trying to Jerry Springer you here at the end of the fucking show, but it's how you address it.
Right.
It's not like, crying about it or whining about it or bitching, pissing and moaning, causing a fit to try to get them to change. Everyone has things that turn them on, and then none of us have the same exact things. Mm-hmm. So it's like you have to encourage someone getting amped up, especially about a fucking TV show. Because what's that mean? It means she's going to be all ready for you when you come over. You watch Outer Banks? Cool. Well, how many episodes are you going to watch? What are you doing later? Want to hang out? Yeah. She's going to watch the show. She's going to get all fucking tanked up and ready to go. You're going to go and show up, and she's going to fucking, you're going to do one little thing. Go and watch the show, too. Take one of the lines, say something, and let her fucking,
Ooh,
I like that. He did that for no.
I do enjoy the audiobooks where the guy's like, good girl.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
Get her to gush. Mm-hmm. Let her get herself worked up, man. Why do you think they have these Dear Widow weekend stripper dudes out at the Mount Pleasant things and shit like this? They can get all worked up and come home and fucking have fun with their dildos and shit while you're hunting. Speaking of dildos, though, I was leaving work today. There is somebody.
Speaking of dildos, you are one of the only people that can have that great of a segue.
And this came out of nowhere too. There's this girl that I work with. She's super cool. She's young, relatively young. I think she's only like 28, 29, maybe almost 30. And she's just a cool chick. And she lives with a group of people, and she's said she's in a polyamorous relationship. So me being the fucking old fart that I am. What am I? I'm being the old Gen Xer that I am. I'm like instantly curious. I'm like, okay, so tell me about this. She fills me in on the details. I'm going to try to get her in with a few of her friends to give us the details on all this stuff. But she said one of the funniest things I've heard in a long time, and I thought that this would be something that you would say. I said, hey, how's it going? What you been up to? I threw my back out in the most, I think she said epic way, maybe, or she may have used a different term. Threw my back out in the most epic way. And I was like, how did you throw your back out? And she's like, lifting a bag of dicks. That's how she said it. Lifting a bag of dicks. And I was like, wait. So immediately I was like intrigued. I was like about to walk out the door. I stayed at work for like 10, 15 minutes. She said that there's a new girl who's moving in with them, a recently divorced person who was married for like 9 years. Really adorable, tattooed, kind of alt-looking girl. Just really, but very attractive. And it was her fucking dildo collection, right? So they were in these like big trash bags, these heavy-duty trash bags, and I said, well, I mean, how many were in there if you had that many? And she says, well, at least 50. So these aren't your average fucking little. These are that big of a
bag. I would assume they're like the monster ones.
Are these artsy octopus fucking tentacle monstrosities and things like this? And she's showing me. I go. Do you have pictures of these things? She goes, no, but I can look it up. But I'm going to do it in incognito mode because I don't want my Google search to find it. So she goes and she shows me on her phone and she's flipping through it. And these things are like $200, $400. She said one of them was like $800.
Wow.
Like, can you imagine an $800 fucking dildo you really can't use? It's a piece of art at that point.
Right.
But immediately my mind's like, when you coming on the show? Gonna bring in a fucking bag of dicks with you, and let's talk about your dicks.
I can crochet you a bag of dicks. Now, did you see the one that I crocheted?
I did. How long does it take you to crochet a dick?
Not too bad. Not too long on those ones.
Weren't
Just
you-
like the little arms coming out of them. They crack me up. My daughter had me make her one. She requested it be brown, by the way.
Oh, okay.
My innocent daughter that thinks making out is weird, but she did admit, she's like, I think maybe I didn't like it because like I was starting to not like him. I'm like, yeah, that's fair. But no,
yeah.
she likes them. She tends to like them dark and athletic. This kid was not dark.
Well,
But,
what's really strange about that is, yeah, I think when you're attracted to somebody, oh God, you want to suck their face so bad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
there was like, when was it? It was probably a year or two ago now. And then a friend of mine who I was really attracted to, still am attracted to her. She's great. She would work an overnight shift, and she'd come over in the morning, and I would just, one of those, I'll leave the door open, just come in. Mm-hmm. And she would be, she'd smoke a bunch of weed and come over, and I'd have morning breath like a motherfucker, just I'm half fucking dead. But it literally didn't matter. She would just come in and jump on top of me, and we'd just start fucking making out. And I was just like, I got the worst fucking breath. She goes, I got fucking weed breath. It's like, who gives a fuck? I don't give a shit. She goes, I would, you know, and it was intense. It was like when you want to fucking kiss somebody, you fucking, it's great, you know. And, yeah, good shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're screwed because our kids are gonna end up like us. And I have Innocence written down on my sheet of paper here, and I think when it comes to life and innocence and things like this, trying to keep the kids, trying to keep them to believe in Santa, you know, all that kind of shit. There's a couple of things that kind of get pushed aside that we tend to just like not try to think about. One of them is privacy. Mm-hmm. The other one is our innocence when we lose it, because once it's gone, it's fucking gone. There's no going back. You can try to be reborn again, but I'm a born again Christian. I'm a born again virgin, born again this, born again that. Once that little seed's dropped in the back of your head that there's some fucking shit in life, there's some debaucherous craziness.
Yeah. No, my kids have both been set on that path. Like, they're not quite there yet, but I was pretty innocent all through high school, too. So I see a lot of myself in my daughter. Oh, yeah.
And then you bust it out.
Yeah, so.
Did we ruin you on the Going Deep show?
No, I was ruined before that, but you probably didn't help. My case may have just, you know.
We contributed to. Listen, you turned out just fine.
I mean, I was hat trick before I came on the show, so
you turned out just fine.
I know, right?
I think so. I wouldn't change a damn thing. Nope, not at all. We have recorded for 47 fucking minutes.
I think we're like at a natural low.
Yeah, we're gonna take a little bit of a break here. Let me play some fucking tunes here, and we'll fucking kick out of this shit. Where's my buttons? Gotta have my buttons. All right, let's play. Here we go.
Chaos and sin.
Do you have any final words? Tell everybody.
I don't know. My edible really kicked in, so I'm just sitting here like
We will start. We'll talk about that in the next coming episodes here for sure. Now that we can, we've crossed into, you know, territories now that we can actually bring that shit up on the show. We used to do the shit. Think about it. We talked about that crap. We had that stuff going on before it was legal. We were breaking the law. But I'm the kid. This is Going Deep Show. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is episode, I think, 2159. Audiobook episode. Listen to that clip at the beginning of the show. It's going to be fucking great. For Hat Trick, the rest of the crew, hit the GDS.com. Chill to the next one.